D'Angelo Russell has been on the trading block, and there is a crazy trade proposal out there that has Russell landing in Orlando in a 3-team deal. But does this deal make sense for the Lakers? And Max Christie was talking with beat reporter Johan Buha about his excitement for next season and him possibly developing into a new role with Coach Redick and the Lakers. What's good, y'all, and welcome to another Lakers Digest video. I'm your host, Okechi Apakama, and before we get into everything we have for you for today's video, guys, I just want to remind you to subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already to get those Laker updates. Now, with that out of the way, let's hop straight into today's topics as a 3-team trade proposal. So, the Lakers have been having D'Angelo Russell on the trading block ever since he picked up his $18.9 million player option. And they've been talking to a few different teams to seeing if they can get a deal done, whether it was the Brooklyn Nets or the Portland Trail Blazers, the Utah Jazz, and nothing has really come to fruition just yet. So, Bleacher Report recently put out a 3-team trade proposal between the Lakers, Portland Trail Blazers, and the Orlando Magic. And this is what they cooked up here, as the Lakers would be receiving Jeremy Grant from the Trailblazers and then Cole Anthony from the Magic, while they'll be sending out D'Angelo Russell and Gabe Vincent, Jared Vanderbilt, Jalen Hood-Schifino, a top 3 protected 2029 first round pick, and then also the 2030 second round pick. And then as far as the rest of the trade is concerned, the Blazers will be receiving Gabe Vincent and Jared Vanderbilt to go along with Jet Howard, and then a 2025 first round pick from Orlando, and then also the top 3 2029 first round pick from the Lakers. And then the Magic would be receiving D'Angelo Russell and Jalen Hood-Schifino to go along with a second round pick from Portland, and then also the 2030 second round pick from the Lakers. So that is a lot to deal with, but essentially the Lakers would be receiving Jeremy Grant and Cole Anthony, and then the other big players in that trade, D'Angelo Russell, will be going to Orlando, and then all those first round picks is what the Portland Trailblazers covered. They'll be going to Portland. So as far as the Lakers are concerned, I've let my thoughts be known about Jeremy Grant, and then yes, he can fill some needs, but I do have some concerns, mostly about his big contract that the Lakers would have to be paying him out probably post LeBron, and that's something that you don't want to do for a guy who's a little bit of a declining role player in some respects. But then the other aspect, Cole Anthony, he's a player that's kind of undervalued and not really talked too much because he's playing for the Orlando Magic, but he's a nice little scoring guard, a guy that is very athletic, can get downhill, can shoot the 3 a little bit. He's not a guy that's going to be a knockdown 3-point shooter. He's definitely better off the dribble than he is catch and shoot, but he's a guy that can really score in bunches and can really help your bench scoring. So he's a guy that I'm kind of intrigued about, but if you're trading a guy like D'Angelo Russell and his caliber, you're going to want a guy with the requisite playmaking that you need to go at that starting point guard position. And then for me, Cole Anthony, yes, he can score and yes, he can play make a little bit, but definitely not to the level of a guy like D'Angelo Russell. So you're putting in a lot of trust in a guy who's very unproven at the highest stages. And while he is a very solid NBA player, a bit undersized too, but he's not a guy that I would essentially be for sure be able to depend on. And I know you're trading away D'Angelo Russell, who's a guy that can kind of falter there sometimes in the playoffs. But well, as far as the regular season is concerned, this guy is A1. You want him in your starting lineup, especially next to LeBron James and Anthony Davis, because he's able to shoot the ball and then also play make at a very high level. So if you're going to lose that, you're going to hope that what you're getting in return kind of replaces that to some degree. But I don't know if Cole Anthony is good enough just yet, because he's still more of a 6-man type bench guard to me. And then you're also trading a guy like Gabe Vincent in that deal, so that's another solid guard, especially if he's healthy, that you are trading away in the hopes that Cole Anthony could take up that mantle, and maybe even Austin Reaves a little bit. So I'm still a little skeptical, especially about that for the Los Angeles Lakers. Obviously, it makes sense for a team like the Trailblazers because they'll be getting those first-round picks. And then for the Orlando Magic, it would kind of shore up who is their starting point guard, because that's kind of what they've been kind of looking for, like who is going to be that next guard for the future. And then probably could be D'Angelo Russell, as guys like Franz Wagner and then Pablo Banchero really grow into like their all-star level potential. But the Lakers, I don't think evidently would make this type of deal, mostly just because I've said Jeremy Grant's contract, and then Cole Anthony, I just don't believe in just enough for the Lakers to really make that deal in trading a first round pick, and then also you're trading away Jared Vanderbilt to a guy who's a high level defender, who's a guy you're definitely going to need in the Western Conference with all of these other teams with solid perimeter players. So trading Jared Vanderbilt is kind of a no-go for me, because you're going to need his skill set, especially when it comes to playing these other top flight Western Conference teams. But that moves me on to my next topic here, and we're going to look at players on the roster who could possibly grow into something bigger, and that is Max Christie's development. So Max Christie, a lot of people thought he was going to take the leap last year, myself included, but he wasn't a guy that really got a lot of or a ton of minutes, really, as if we just look at his stats from last season. And obviously, the counting stats are not going to be measured because he didn't play too much for the Lakers, just averaged about 4 points per game and about 2 rebounds per game. But I want you guys to take a look at the percentages for a guy like Max Christie, because shooting about 42% and then about 35% from 3, and then he was about 44% on corner threes, and then most of his 3-pointers were assisted on. So he's definitely an off-ball player and a guy who can work within the offense. But he was also talking with Johan Buha, the beat reporter for the Lakers. And then this is a little bit about what he said about him and JJ Redick being on the same page. So he said, "I think we're on the same page with that stuff. I think we're all in agreement that I'm good to go on the offense and the defense and the rotation in general. So I'm looking forward to that." Christie said that around the 6:25 mark. So Max Christie was on Johan Buha's show on YouTube, and then he was saying that it looks like him and Redick has found common ground, because Max Christie signed an extension about 4 years, $32 million. And then this is kind of like with the hope that Max Christie is going to be thrust into that rotation and get some meaningful minutes, not only in the regular season, but hopefully the playoffs as well. As Max Christie has projected to be that 3-and-D type player that the Lakers have kind of been pining for and kind of been looking for quite some time. But Max Christie is that exact type player. He's 6'6", he's got very good size, he's got pretty good wingspan, and he's also a dude that is very confident on the offensive side of the ball, mainly in just small spurts. He's going to be a low usage guy. He's not going to be a guy that takes a ton of dribbles or really takes away from the offense. So you can kind of plug him into any lineup. But let's take a look here at his per 36-minute stats, because I think this can be a big indicator of what type of player Max Christie could be. And for the first 2 seasons, it shows that Max Christie could be around a 10-point-a-game scorer, and then most importantly be a 37% 3-point shooter, which is very crucial for a guy who can be a high-level offensive player, and then also a guy that you can rely upon on the defensive end. And then another stat I want you guys to take a look at is that defensive rebounding, about 4 per game, because if you guys know this, Max Christie is the Lakers' best guard defensive rebounding, and it's not even close, as anytime he's on the floor, he always goes up with 2 hands. He's very fundamentally sound on that side of the ball. And then when it comes to defending, he's always got his hands in the right spot. He's always moving with the defender. And he's just a very technically sound defender, which is very important when you have a young player who's really trying to figure out what he can do at this NBA level. Now, I think in his 3rd year, can be the prime opportunity for a guy like Max Christie to really showcase what he can do, and especially under a new system with JJ Redick, if he's able to learn quickly of what that offense is, and if it is similar to that 5-out offense the Lakers ran towards the end of the season, I think Max Christie can really find himself in some nice spots, not only in the offensive end to be a guy that can knock down a 3-point shot, but he's also a guy who can drive to the rim, can dunk on you if you give him a chance, and he's also comfortable shooting at mid-range too. So he's got very different levels of what he can do on offensive end, and then on the defensive end, he can be a guy that can be one of the guys that help you out on the wing. So that guy to guard those high-level 2s, those high-level 3s, and maybe even some point guards, depending on what type of point guard they're going after. Maybe it is a De'Aaron Fox type, where it's a little bit of a bigger point guard. You need that size. Or a Jamal Murray, who we've struggled to guard for years. And then if you plug in a guy like Max Christie, who is a lot bigger than those guys, he can really make life tough on them just because of his defensive technique and then his willingness to do it on that end. So I'm really excited to see what we can get from Max Christie, especially under this new coach, JJ Redick. And I'm excited to see what he can showcase and really how he can elevate his game and show why the Lakers gave him that extension. But that's probably going to be it for this video, guys. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. There's about 78% of you guys who are not subscribed to the channel just yet. And if you guys like this content and want some more Laker news, you guys want to make sure you guys are subscribed to Lakers Digest so you guys do not miss any of those updates. That's going to be it for this video, guys. Make sure you guys subscribe. I have been your host, Okechi Apakama, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.